Hey guys, and welcome to this video about UiPath from zero to hero. This is video number 3 in my series. In the first video, we looked on how to install UiPath. In the second video, we talked about how you can create your first robot, kind of to showcase the power of UiPath. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the user interface and what we actually have on the screen, right? So when you start up your iPad, basically this is what you get. Well, I did a sequence right here, but I can delete it, right? So this is basically what you get, right? So on the top you have kind of a menu, and then on the left you have an activity bar, and on the right you have like another panel, right? Two different panels, and these panels, the left one and the right one, are used quite frequently. So we need to talk about these panels, right? Now, what you also get when you start a project like this is like you get this, right? So you get something called dependencies and you get this main XAML, right? The main XAML is basically your starting point of your automation. So whatever you want to automate, you can start over here and we can of course create more of these automation files. But then you have this thing called dependencies. What dependencies is kind of installed packages on UiPath. So basically now I have Excel, mail, system, testing, and UI automation. Now, these are pre-installed into UiPath when you install UiPath. If you want to add more packages, let's say you want to automate uh, Outlook, for example, right? What you can do is you can press Manage Packages here, and then you can actually install other type of packages depending on what you want to automate, right? Now, again, so you have two menus here, or two panels. We can call them panels. On the left one is the most important one, I would say, is where you have your project, but also where you have all your activities. And basically, an activity is what we're going to automate. Automating different type of activities to create one bot, right? So let's start with a sequence. I'm just gonna add a message box for shits and giggles. So we have a message box, and in this message box, I just put in hello mom. Now, if you have a small screen, if you're working on a laptop, for example, what you want to do is you want to unpin this, right? So that you can unpin that one as well, so that you have it on the side. Because the most important thing in UiPath is this main window, the main sequence, right? Our automation window. And if you have a small screen, it can be hard to see what's in there. So again, my tip is for you, for those who have a small screen or a laptop or a small monitor, whatever you call it, make sure that you unpin this and you can just, pull them out whenever you need. Now on the right side is another panel, and the most popular or most the tool we're going to use the most is the thing called properties. So if you, I'm going to move here. If you go down here, you see something called properties. You press that, and basically all activities have some kind of property. You see, if I press this message box, I see the display name, I see the text, I see if I want to keep it private or not. Uh, Yada yada. Basically, different options depending on what type of activity you're actually trying to play around with, right? And the same thing goes for this. You can unpin this, and you can unpin this, and let's unpin that, and you have it. You have them on the side here. So again, you have the properties over here. If you ever need the properties, you can just, fetch it. And if you don't need it, you can just remove it by pressing it like so and close it. And I'm gonna remove this autopilot. It's also pinned, and we're gonna remove this auto hide. There's a lot of things to hide. Auto hide. There we go. So again, if tip number one, if you have small surface or small space, just hide the panels on the side. But remember how to to show them again, because you will use them quite frequently. And since I have a big screen, I usually just leave them open like this. Now on the top side, we have a couple of different things, right? The first thing is like new, save, and export, right? Pretty straightforward. And then we have this play button. And what this play button does, it actually runs your file. The manage packages we already talked about, right? And the test managers is if you want to do automated testing, for example, you could use this one. And over here we have something called app/web recorder and computer vision. We're going to talk about these things later in the future, but pretty powerful stuff, right? Here is table extraction. Let's say you want to extract a table from a website. You can use this tool over here. The UI Explorer just launches the UI Explorer. And then you have analyze file that will actually analyze your workflow against static rules that you might have. Also have is this thing called the publish, right? And this publish, what you can do is you can actually publish your project so that, well, you could use them and reach them outside of UiPath Studio if you want to do that. Then we can also look down here. So down here you have a couple of things. You have output, for example, that will output different logs for you. And these are just different kind of filters that you can use. We have breakpoints and bookmarks, and we have error list. And we will go through these more in detail later on. Now, down here you have something. Let's just close this. Down here you have more like enterprise level things. For example, if you want to add this to source control, so if you know what like Git is, for example, you can source well, you can check different version and have different versions of this code, and you can cooperate and stuff like that. Kind of a programming thing, right? So if you're a programmer, you probably know what Git is. And that's kind of it, right? This is UiPath. This is our interface. And the best way to learn this interface is actually to play around with the interface. So that's my number one recommendation is for you to actually test it out, try it out, play with it, and yeah, uh, learn stuff as you go. Because when you're trying it and when you're building stuff, you're gonna end up, well, clicking on different stuff, and then you might need help with something, maybe something broke or whatever. And then I always recommend Google. So if you have a problem with UiPath, you can always Google it, or you can use, for example, ChatGPT to direct you in the right path, right? And that's kind of it for this video, guys. I just wanted to have a quick overview of the path. And also one last thing. Again, if you're struggling with space, what you can do is if you want more space, you can double click this design, and then it will remove this the top menu, so you get even more workspace, right? And if you want it back, you can just press design again. If you double click it, it will, pin it. If you don't, you're just gonna do like a quick menu like that. And yeah, that's kind of it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed, please do thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.